It was a rarity, especially here on the south side. The whole family, Cubs fans. Sometimes we're outnumbered, but we stay strong. What better way to show my love and appreciation for all the good times I've had, being a Cubs fan. I want to show off how much I love the Cubs. This is me. This is how I do it. If the Cubs win the World Series, I'm going to get the tattoo of the trophy on my left forearm, maybe even the chrome on my head. It's going somewhere. Some people have been like, you're insane. No, I love the Cubs.
Stand by. And
C502, take one, Margaret.
So it's June 19th, 2004. We get the Cubs tickets the day they go on sale.
Most professional baseball campaigns, they do one of two things. They either highlight the players and try to, use the players and put them in funny situations, or they promise that they're going to win. And we just didn't really feel like either of those two approaches was the way to go.
We saw a range of ideas. And the one we really gravitated to is the one that is now kind of out in the market, Committed. It really used our passionate, loyal fan base that we have.
We're in a starting chance.
You got this. Come on, pal. You can do it.
let's go, Cubs!
The nervousness that I had going into it was you don't know what people are going to say, right? They're all unscripted. So this is like reality TV. I think there were some ones that I'm like, did they just say that? Like, that's phenomenal. There's great stuff, but that's the kind of the magic of the campaign.
Let's go, Cubs! Let's go, Cubs! Let's go, Cubs!
And it was hard presenting a campaign where you can't say this is what's going to happen in this scene and this is what's going to happen in this scene. Most of our clients, everything is frame by frame listed before you go on production.
The things that these fans said and the way that they positioned what it meant to be a Cub fan, they said things that I could never write. You can't make this stuff up. And the best part is you don't have to make it up. It's there. You just have to pull it out.
I mean, Todd Walker, for a fact, even said that it was because of this guy's chant. But I'm a three-syllable guy. Let's go Cubs. I don't want the let's go Cubs.
And they're proud of the relationship that they have with the team. They're proud of the loyalty. They're proud of the commitment. And they're pretty bullish on the future. Even though, clearly, there's frustration there.
When the Cubs blow a lead in the bottom of the ninth inning, you may go to bed upset, but you still say I love you. You still kiss that picture of Ernie Banks. I tell you what, it's like a marriage.
If you look at a guy like David Eagan, he's tattooed his entire head with Cub logos. That's obviously what caught our attention.
You have a guy from the south side of Chicago. They should be a Sox fan, but he's a Cubs fan. And what do you think his neighbors think about that?
It sounds like you've had a lot of fun at the games.
I've had my fair share of a lot of fun.
In meeting him and talking to him, you realize what a sweetheart this guy is.
Looking right at the clock.
This big bouncer on the south side, and his softness comes through, and his humility. I mean, he is so passionate. This means so much to him, which is exactly the emotion we were trying to capture in the campaign.
It was a rarity, especially here on the south side. The whole family, Cubs fans. Sometimes we're outnumbered, but we stay strong. What better way to show my love and appreciation for all the good times I've had, being a Cubs fan. I want to show off how much I love the Cubs.
Cubs fans are, all different sizes and shapes and personalities and history, and we were looking for that range. I think we also, though, it mattered on the story.
Some people have been like, you're insane. No, I love the Cubs.
They all have great stories. They all come from different backgrounds and have kind of unique twists on their story. But certainly, Cubs fans are all over, and we wanted to represent kind of the range of the fans that we see at our ballpark.
So this is Jeff and Jesse Galbraith. Are we making a promise? Are we making too much of a promise? These are the types of questions that we'd have to ask ourselves. The fact of the matter is they lost a lot of games last year, and Cub fans are frustrated, and rightfully so. We needed to let the Cubs fan know that the team appreciated their passion and was committed to rewarding it.
That's where this originated from. It's like, hey, we, as far as what we're doing on the baseball side and on the business side, really trying to rebuild this and get us towards, sustainable winning and winning a championship.
All the grandstands, and you're walking around and you're looking.
I think we were just looking for an opportunity to kind of find a campaign that we might stay with. So the idea, knock on wood, unless we win the World Series this year, this would be something that we're continuing with year after year, kind of reaffirming with our fans our commitment to this ultimate goal of winning a World Series, and then continuing to honor them for their commitment into us. So I think we see it as something that, you know, has longevity and will stay for the next year or two until we win a World Series.
So let me tell you another story about a game that we were at many years ago.
Why are you always telling the stories?
Yeah, well, you don't have to let us
I tell them.
Tell the story.
No, so we were at 70s night, and Rick had this huge
Afro. Yeah, because the people behind us couldn't even
Kyle
see.
Fisher was at that game.
He was
Yeah.
with us.
He was actually
Watching the game, and my friend Opie, he was like, "Hey, Mr. Ricketts, you got to meet this Cubs fan." And he's like trying to tap me. I'm like, "Wait, I'm watching the game." And he goes, "Man, look, it's Mr. Ricketts." I said, "Oh wow." And I was like, "You got to see this tattoo I have." I turned around. He goes, "Wow." I was like, I want to ask you a favor. He goes, what can I do for you? I said, I want to get Ron Santo's autograph. He goes, well, I don't know if I can do that for you. And he misunderstood me and thought I had said, I want to meet Ron Santo. I said, no, I want his autograph. I want to put it right above the cubby here. And, you know, everybody back here, you know, some of the Southsiders are like, hey, you ain't going to get nothing. That man ain't going to send you anything. I'm like, he might or he might not. And about 3 weeks later, I get an envelope in the mail, and it was an actual picture of Ron Santo batting, and it said, "To Dave, go Cubs, Ron Santo." And I was just floored as soon as I opened that up. I couldn't believe it. I enjoyed making phone calls to people saying, yeah, thought I wouldn't get it, huh? And I sent pictures to everybody. I was like, see, he came through. And then I was fighting for a while. I was like, you know, I was going through some things. My dad had passed, my grandmother was passed, and I was like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to make it real original. And then Ron, unfortunately, had passed away. And I said, well, that was one of my dad's favorite ball players. Grandma loved him. I was like, they didn't want me to tattoo their names on my body. I was like, Ron passed. I was like, I got it perfect. Put the number 10 with the halo above it, and his autograph right in between. I said, what a better way to honor him.
What was the reaction when you got it done? I mean, there's passion, and then there's passion.
Yeah, there was a lot of people couldn't believe it. They were like, you did the Cubby Bear, and they were like, and then you went above and beyond. Some people have been like, you're insane. I'm like, no, I love the Cubs. And what better way to show my love and appreciation for all the good times I've had, you know, being a Cubs fan, than to show a tattoo of me.
Tell me about what you do and about how the tattoos factor into it. I want to hear about that.
How the what?
The tattoos factor into it. You told me in the past that you get some razzing. I mean, you're literally wearing your heart on your sleeve. Tell me about it.
I catch a lot of flack, you know. There's some people that knock it, you know.
David, can you say that line one more time just for camera? I get a lot of flack.
I get a lot of flack about the tattoos from some people. And I go on about my business. I don't let it bother me.
Sorry. We're going to...
That's a big one. Cutting.
Brian, one of the most interesting jobs in the world. I'm a security guy / bouncer at a bar called 525 here in Chicago Heights.
And you said you're good at it.
I better be. I've been doing it 13 years. I enjoy it, you know. I get to meet the people, you know, just chit-chatting with everybody. You have a good time with it. You're basically paid to have a good time.
What was the reaction on the south side? Tell me about the reaction. What it's like, you know, the razzing back.
There was quite a few, like I said, so quite a few people that gave me flack for it, you know, saying, why would you do that? It's what I love. I said, I live, eat, and breathe Cubs, baseball, that's it. It's the one thing I love in life. It's about the only thing I love in life besides my family and friends, you know. And that's just it. There's nothing sweeter.
So, I mean, what's it like though in the bar when they start razzing you, going back and forth? Tell me, describe that situation.
Usually I don't have to say too much because I have my real good friends with me. I always got people with me. So before anybody can say anything, my friends usually speak up. But then again, there's also the select few that just think I'm completely off the wall, so they don't even want to come near me. So, you know, it goes one way or the other. It's actually kind of funny, but I got good friends that'll just sit there, and then it turns into a funny conversation of who's a better ball club, and, you know, it goes back and forth. It's real funny.
And is there times though when people are kind of like insulting?
I've had a Sox fan smack me in the back of the head. Didn't work out too well for him.
And what about the insults? Just, you know.
Shake him off, huh? I don't care what you say about me. I'm a diehard Cubs fan, you don't like it? You must be more upset that I have something that you didn't think of doing first. So you think you're going to try to knock me off my peg, and I just laugh and wave and I keep walking.
You said you aren't done either.
No, I'm not even close. I'm not even close. I got something in the works right now. I don't want to say too much about it. I don't want anybody stealing my ideas. But it's just going to be huge.
Peter, do you like that line?
No, we're good through there. Well, they were also razzing you. Tell me about the whole situation with the score when that interview came out.
Score, what a joke. I was actually at home. I was sleeping, and my friend Brian, he calls me. He goes, hey, you listen to radio? I said, no, I'm not listening to radio. I'm not going to listen to the score. And he's like, they're calling you a moron for having the tattoos. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. And then one of my other friends hit me up on Facebook. He's like, man, they're really digging on you on the score. So I'm like, all right, fine. I got up, showered up, called up my buddy Eric, and I was like, man, come pick me up. I said, the score is really razzing me. I said, I'm going to call him, but I want to do it from your house because you know when I'm about to say something I shouldn't, and you're going to be my stopper, you know? So there's a few times that I called in, and I got through in about maybe 15 minutes, you know, and a guy goes, yeah, hello. I'm like, hello. And I didn't know I was on the air, and he goes, yeah, you're live. And I'm like, all right, my name's Dave. I'm the guy with the tattoos on my head. And which one did you call me a moron? And they were like, we both did. I'm like, you don't know me. You're gonna judge me? You know, and it went on. I was calm, collected, you know, I didn't say anything, but you could tell that they really wanted me to give them some ammo. I just wouldn't do it. And, you know, I made them feel a little dumb here and there because they were asking questions and they were trying to get me to bite on something. I was like, I just walked away from it.
What was the reaction from your brother and sister when they saw the tattoo the first time?
They actually asked a couple of my friends that we were at the, I want to say, I can't remember if it was my dad or my grandmother's wake, and they had, my brother and sister asked me, why would you let Dave tattoo his head? Nobody knew, there was a lot of people that didn't know what I was doing. But my sister and brother were just shaking their heads, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, you guys got a career, I'm a bouncer by career. I said, you know, I ain't worried. I'm not a professional like you guys. You know, you guys are white collar and I'm blue collar. I dig ditches. Nobody's gonna say anything about a job interview about a tattoo.
Peter, sorry, we just had a compressor go off in the middle of that. Could you just maybe grab the first part of that? People that.
Just backing up to the wake and showing the tattoo and your brother and sister's reaction. Take me back to
Oh yeah, I didn't really see it too much, but my friends, they were drilling my friends about why they would let me do something like that. And they didn't know. A lot of my some of the friends that knew my brother and sister, they didn't know that it was going on because I knew they were probably going to try to talk me out of it. But when I got my mind set on something, there's no stopping me.
You thought your brother and sister would try to talk you out of it?
Well, like they are not so much on the whole tattoo things like that. You know, they're about, well, you know, what about a job? And you know, I mean, how are you going to get a job? I said, well, I'm going to apply for a job at Wrigley Field. I'm sure they'll hire me.
And what was it like going to that wake though when they saw it for the first time? Tell me about it.
You know, I really didn't pay too much attention to what they were saying or doing about it. They just, you know, they just kind of had that look, and they were like, they were shaking their head. And I was like, what are you gonna do? This is me. I want to show off how much I love the Cubs. This is how I do it.
It's our baby brother again.
Yeah, exactly. My brother, that's my little brother. You go figure. Gotta be showing off something.
And what about when you're at the Wrigley Field, when you're sitting in your seat there in the bleachers? I mean, people come up and they want to take their picture with you. What's it like?
All the time. It takes me a few minutes to get to my seat because they're like, hey, excuse me, do you mind if I get a picture of your tattoo? I'm like, not at all. You know, I get some of my friends are like, you should start charging for. I'm like, that's not what it's about. You know, I find it's cool to have somebody go, hey, you mind if I take a picture? You know, you hear the cameras in the background all the time clicking, and I'm just kind of used to it now. You know, it don't bother me none at all. People want to take pictures, I go ahead. I've had people, you know, hey, you mind taking a picture with my kid? No, not at all. I find it's cool.
Well, I mean, here's the question. What is, we talked a little bit about it, what is it all about? This is a team that hasn't won in 100 years. They lost 100 games last year. A lot of people, a lot of Cubs fans are ashamed. They are hiding their Cubs loyalties, whereas you wear it right on your head.
I never hide. You know, you got to take the good with the bad. Whether it be people are like, oh, it's been bad for over 100 years. Yeah, it might be, but I'm still proud of them. I still love the Cubs. I'll go to as many games as I can every year. Me personally, you know, if they're having a bad year, sometimes that's okay because I find it easier to find tickets. You know, because if I could, I'd go to every game every year.
Just repeat the question and answer it.
Okay.
It might help us. David, why do you love baseball?
Why do I love baseball? It's just something I've loved since I was a kid. Playing baseball, being in baseball, it's just an awesome thing. It's all I look forward to is baseball.
Can you describe getting off the red line, seeing Wrigley? Tell me a little bit more about that experience.
When you're just taking that right on the red line, you know, and the train's going back and forth, and you know, and you're just sitting there like you're anxious. You're like, man, come on. Then you're coming up out the tunnel, you're going up, and then you see Wrigley Field, and it's just it's awesome. It's breathtaking, and you just don't see nothing like that. I mean, just what a feeling it is when you see Wrigley Field, when you're on that train, just knowing you're about a minute away from walking in the most awesome thing in the world.
Tell me about walking into Wrigley. Explain to me, kind of, to me how it feels and what you're experiencing.
When you're walking into Wrigley Field, you can't really describe the feeling of like the anxiousness to get in there, find your seat, sit down, and you know, just knowing where you are, knowing what ball players that park has seen, who has stepped onto that field, and just being there and just feeling all that come together, and then just really enjoying a ball game.
Have you ever been on the field?
Yes, I have. I've been on the field once when I was a kid. My dad had bought a ticket for, I can't remember what it was, but it was, you know, as kids who got to come there, and some Cubs players you got to meet, and they answered questions, and then they let you out onto the field. It was pretty cool to be actually on the field. I'd love to go on the field again, though.
Ryan had a question yesterday that I liked. What do you do during the off season? Is there an off season for you?
For about 2 weeks. Just when all the baseball's over, in the off season.
Well, there he turned around. He's modeling the other side now.
What I want to know is, did Billy and Ernie actually sign his head and then he had it made permanent? Is that Ron Santo? It is.
All right, he's got Ronnie going.